Right.
Okay, so we're back. I just had to fill my drink, so I was just drinking I discovered this by accident. It's whiskey with Sprite.
Yeah, what's
I
up
thought,
with that?
No, but I thought I was the only one drinking this, but it turns out it's not true. Because
it's a thing.
I was a huge Coke guy. I mean, not Coke like in kind of cola.
Right, of course.
So I would always drink like whiskey with Coke.
Whiskey Coke I've seen before.
Yeah, but like I just wanted one day to try Sprite, and I don't know, I kind of like the taste, so and I have a...
Hey, if it works for you, then so, whatever. Yeah.
And also like it's... like I always drink when there is someone at home. I never drink alone. I mean, it's really rare like that I have a beer or something, but like especially whiskey, like I drink when someone is here. But I know people like who are like they just sit around at home and it's 7 o'clock. Which is really, I don't know, what do you think about it? For me, it's like really dangerous.
my grandfather did it for years, and it's just his thing. Like he has to take his 2 drinks before dinner. And that's just, I guess people do it. I mean, you don't get smashed, right? Exactly, yeah. Yeah, you just like it, so you drink it.
No, but
you don't have to drink like a teenager, right?
The case I am talking about is like when people get smashed.
Oh, no. That's just drinking like a teenager.
Yeah, that's like.
But like, I like I'd have a can of beer or 2, before dinner or during, dinner or something.
Because I remember when I was a student, I would go to my friend's dorm or something, and he would have like bottles in his room, and
that's a different kind of drinking, bro. Yeah. That's something else.
Okay, so this podcast is not to like.
It's not about alcohol.
Promote alcohol, but
I
he's just saying
not.
that.
I
just like the way whiskey makes my voice feel, or I don't know, sound or something. Okay, let's go. So we were just.
I think you sound fine. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. No, we were just the last time talking about homework. We talked about a movie from Studio Ghibli. Who is it pronounced Ghibli or Ghibli?
I actually don't know.
Okay,
I've never
let's say Ghibli,
been around that many movie buffs. So
so it's the anime we're talking about. Coming back to anime, is like there's but it's not really anime style, but it's done by the studio. It's called Red Turtle, and it's like I think it has won like Oscar awards and stuff. And you should watch it.
What is it? Is it in the same league with Spirited Away and all the other films?
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that.
Spirited Away was like that was my jam. Like that movie was I love that movie.
But
Spirited
this is
Away
more
was so good.
Kind of like a more meditative tone, sort of, because Spirited Away is for me more sophisticated, like and more philosophical sociology. I mean, there's there's everything. There's a lot
there's
of things
too much going
on.
on. We need too much thing.
And like Red Turtle is more like. I don't know how to explain it. It's like it's about life, like just,
okay, all right.
Like it's
no spoilers. I guess I need to watch it.
It's just like what
it's recent, right?
But I will not spoil it. But it's just about a guy who is like lost in an island, and he's like he meets someone, and then just what happens afterwards.
All right.
And it's like there's nearly no dialogue, and it's like all music, and like it's beautiful. So. And like before we actually, I mean, we did a test before recording the podcast, and we were talking about horror films.
Right.
And you talked about Annabelle creation, right?
Yes.
Which you like.
She was in town, man. She wanted to watch a film. Okay, and Dunkirk was not on and at the time, so we had to watch Annabelle Creations. Yeah.
Okay.
And I watched it.
So you watched it with your girl?
Yeah, okay. I did.
But
I mean, with a friend.
She's really into horror films?
No, I guess, but horror films is something that you enjoy, together with your partner or whatever. Exactly. I don't know. But yeah, but I was, after a while, I was just watching it like a film buff. And I was not impressed. Like, it's not my kind of horror film. Okay. I was expecting it to be. I know Annabelle. There's this like it's a series or it comes from somewhere. They have a history to this kind of film.
Yeah, from what I've read, there's of course the first film, which is Annabelle without any what do you call it, subtitle? No, not
it wasn't dubbed or.
No. It's like what I was going to say. Like for example, this is Annabelle creation, right? So this is like the second part of the series, and I think maybe third one will be Annabelle something else. Like it's
yeah, I don't know.
How do you call the small letter that you put like after the title?
Like this. Oh, right. Oh, okay.
The tagline,
I see what you mean.
Tagline or something.
Right.
Okay, so and if I read correctly, I think this is from a spin-off from Conjuring.
Yeah. I've not seen that either. I'm not a horror movie fan. Like I don't watch a lot of horror.
We were talking about like even if you were into horror movies, you would be in a different kind of horror movies, because this one is like more like jump scare.
It is, and it's also cheesy. Like the whole thing we talked about with Alien, like it's less in my head. It's more on the screen, and that just kills the whole thing because my imagination is not going to work anymore. So my kind of horror film, like I told you, is The Shining. Right, and that's regarded as one of it's called a thriller, I guess, and it's not a horror film, so I guess it doesn't fall in the same category.
Have you read the book?
No.
Okay.
No. But that movie did it for me. Like if we can call that movie a horror movie, I want more of that.
I Annabelle heard that Stephen King hated that. I mean, we are talking about the movie by Stanley Kubrick, right?
What movie from Stanley Kubrick?
Shining.
The Shining, yeah, of course.
Because there was another Shining. I don't know if it's.
That's why I'm asking. Like,
it's less known, but apparently it's like Stephen King hated the one from Stanley Kubrick. I mean,
really?
Not hated it, but
I didn't know that.
I heard that he didn't find Jack Nicholson the right fit for that role.
Really?
Right, yeah.
Holy shit. Because Jack Nicholson, he did a really good job in that movie. But that face,
I think the way he
defines that movie.
That's why I started by asking if you read the book, because I mean I didn't read the book, but like
I see what you mean.
The thing is like apparently the guy was supposed to slowly, be a really normal guy, and then but slowly go into madness. But Jack Nicholson,
it's just crazy from the first. Yeah, his eyes just like they just kill the mood. I guess
even I really love the first when they're going in the car.
And
the kid is beautiful. Like, I've seen it on television. He's like, you see, he's saying on television. You know, like he has this.
Yeah, he has that voice. He's just like playing the part all the time.
And stuff.
Sure, maybe.
But so then they made another movie. I don't know who the director was, but but it's like it looks like in terms of like visually the looks. I mean, nothing can touch Stanley Kubrick's visual.
He's got an knack for
perfection.
That. Yeah.
So. And also I think Stanley Kubrick is a very difficult. Do you know the movie Eyes Wide Shut?
I've not seen. I have it on my laptop. I've not seen it.
It's one of my
It's some crazy like.
It's like a erotic.
Thriller, it's got something else going for it completely. And I've read all about it.
And this one is my friend told me about it. It's like there's a scene where he's just explaining to Tom Cruise, like a guy is explaining to Tom Cruise, and like. I think Tom Cruise has to give like an expression or something or a line, and I think they made like 100 takes. I think it was like most takes in like a movie or something. Or was it Jackie Chan who has the record? I think Jackie Chan probably has the record of. But I think it was like crazy takes, the crazy number of takes, and they said, and he's like very very demanding as a director, and you could see it in the film like. If you hear about the director and then you see their movie and it's shitty, like So, but now it's like we're talking about Stanley Kubrick, so it's like it's self-explanatory. So talking about horror movies, so I recommend Get Out.
I've never heard of that.
So I put it on the
list.
I put it on the. That's another thing. Like we didn't have a name for this podcast, so maybe it should be put it on the list.
Put that on the list too. Let's brainstorm in the next episode, we will come up with a name.
So Get Out. So, but what do you think? Like, let's like I don't have any names in mind. Like for a podcast. Like
maybe it doesn't have to be just movies.
Okay, let me ask the question like this: do you think in the title there should be Bangkok in the title? Like, is it specific?
I mean, I like Bangkok. I don't know about you. I mean, I'm not going anywhere for a while.
Cool. I like it here. But what I'm saying is that it's. It's sort of specific to Bangkok.
Let's just put it in stone so that I don't know. Do you like it here? You want to stay here?
No,
so let's for the sake of the podcast.
Let's put Bangkok on the title, and also like talking about movies, the movies that came out, the movies that are going to come out and stuff. Like for example, we were talking about Dunkirk, right?
Yeah.
Like I want to watch that. I mean, it's a movie that you have to watch in the cinema, and I'm really scared that I will not have time to, like, for example, I think tomorrow I'm going to watch Dark Tower. Because I mean, again, it's talking about Stephen King. Need to see. There's like a thread here. I didn't read those series.
Me neither. But, heard a lot about it.
Let's see what.
But you're gonna pick that over Dunkirk? I don't know. Which one's the one that you're supposed to watch in the hall?
To be honest, I'm going with someone. And
okay, alright.
I don't want to bring it to that. Okay. I kind of want to have that experience for, I don't know. Like
after Annabelle, she was just like, okay, let's watch another film. And I was like, okay, what movie do you want to watch? Because I'm the pushover, right?
So you watched
and then she was like, no, that was the next day. And then she's just like, oh, I've heard about this movie called Dunkirk. And I was like, like a victory moment. I'm like, yes. We don't have to watch a shitty horror film today. We're going to watch Dunkirk. So, yeah, that was a win-win in my book.
And again, I think I also put the other one on the list is Split. So you have to watch Split.
Yeah, so I have a list.
Actually, 2017 is not a bad year for films because...
What all came out this year?
First, Arrival, which was excellent.
Dude, still not seen it.
You've not seen it
yet?
No. Oh shit, okay, I put Arrival.
No, that I have my own list and Arrival is on it. Yeah,
okay.
I've heard about
a
lot about Arrival.
Because Split is finally, we lost Night Shyamalan and now we have
He's come back from the dead.
Back. And it's sort of a pseudo franchise, but okay, I think you'll find that out when you see the movie. But it's
okay.
And special credit to James McAvoy, the main actor. Like without him, like that movie wouldn't be how do you say this? He carries the movie actually. Split, Get Out. What else? Like we're talking about horror movies. So what is a horror movie that stands out for you? Like when you think about horror movies.
Like I already mentioned, The Shining. I've not seen a lot of horror films, to be honest, and I've heard like what are the Korean films? I don't know. Okay. The Ring was inspired by.
Was it? It was Korean, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think so. Ring, I've not seen that. I've not seen all of those horror films, so I guess I have a lot of homework to do on that front. But
I think that's the opposite of jump scares because it moves slowly. It's like it follows. I have not seen that.
I've not seen that either.
But I have it in my list. It's not about a monster. It's sort of I heard this. If I remember the synopsis correctly, it's like if you have sex with someone, then that person has to have sex with someone. I don't know. It's like a weird.
Okay. Yeah, they come up with weird.
And I think
shit.
It's yeah.
Yeah. So horror films, like I don't know. Recently, there was the whole Paranormal Activity was. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah, that's fun, but it wasn't like a lasting effect. It was just like a. Yeah, sure. That's a cool thing we can do with films.
Compared to that, do you think like Shining lasts with you?
Oh boy, of course. Yeah. Paranormal Activity was like a.
So we're talking about Shining. What is the one frame or the scene that like you have like when you think about Shining?
Just so many little things about that movie that just stand out, right? Like the boy talking to that guy, and he's telling him about The Shining, and you're just like, why is this weird? Like it's just a dude talking to a kid, and it just stands out. It's that same thing where it's just they're at a hotel, and then there's this guy, and the camera is just there in his face, like those subtle things like that, and
the blood from the elevator,
right? Weird shit like that. And going back to video games, they've started picking up on this, and they're doing such an amazing job of this. There's this game called PT. It's by this game designer called.
There's no full name. It's just PT.
It's called PT, Playable Teaser. That's all like it stands for, and it was like a demo. It's like a 15-20 minute game.
But is it like a shooter?
It's like you're in the first person. You're walking down a corridor of this house, and they don't tell you anything, and they never show you the monster. Basically, right? It's that kind of horror, and it's Japanese horror, so it's all got to do with showing you the familiar, changing that one thing, and then giving you the time to notice it, and then you notice it, and then you shit your pants, right? That's and that's, I look at that, and that's not jump scares. It'll have its jump scares in it. Like even The Shining had jump scares, right? They were subtle, but they were there, right? You need some of that. You can't just throw that out the window. But you don't put all your chips in that one basket.
I don't remember any. Was there really a jump scare in Shining?
I mean, you could call them jump scares, right? Like the axe coming through the door. I mean, you don't want to call that a jump scare, but it's subtle jump scares. Like when the boy is cycling through the corridors and you turn, the camera turns. That's a jump scare, dude. Like with the two girls standing in this distance, you do that. It's a cheap ass camera trick.
The image of them like bloody and
it's an age old trick, and he put it there because you can, right? He didn't have to do it, but that's not the pivotal moment of the film, but it works, right? It works.
So there's for me in terms of horror movies, like I always recommend Black Christmas. Do you know Black Christmas? It's a movie I think from 1978, if I remember correctly. Whoa. Okay, if you see it now, you'll be like, wait, I've seen this before. But actually, that's the first film that did that sort of. I mean, it's a slasher film, but again, like you said, they don't show you the monster. Like they don't like it's sort of, and it happens in a sorority house. I'm not going. Of course, I'm not going to spoil it, but like it's really, and even there is a he actually hides in the sorority house. And he kills, of course, like one by one, like a slasher. Like that's the usual. Because everybody says that Halloween actually sort of started that slasher genre, but actually it's Black Christmas.
Okay.
We inspired Halloween actually.
All right. Didn't know that.
And there are moments where the guy calls the telephone from another room and then he doesn't make sense. Like he talks, but he doesn't make any sense. Like he talks like. If you hear that scene, like if you pick up the phone and you hear that, you'll be like, what?
That was not expecting that.
I'm changing my condo. So it's now you can't really, nobody has landline phones.
Right, can't do that anymore. Can't change.
But it's that kind of, like you're right, that kind of, and we were talking about
BABADOok. Yeah, heard a lot about that.
Yeah, so I think that I should put that in my list too. Like BABADOok, I should watch it because they said it's directed by a lady because we don't have a lot of lady directors.
Oh yeah, that's a thing, right?
BABADOok, okay. What else? What other horror films?
Like I said, not seen as many. I've not just.
So what is your? Do you have like a favorite genre?
Like a go-to genre?
Yeah,
it's a good question. Never thought about that. Like I actually don't. I don't have like a kind of film that I like. I have my favorite director, right? Like I'd watch anything that director makes, but I don't have a genre. I just don't like superhero films.
Yeah,
I used to like them, but like I've not seen a superhero film in ages because
they sort of feel like it's the same, or like
I mean recent Marvel films and like they're just coming off the factory. It's like it's just not fun anymore. The first Iron Man film, I think, is just genius, right? Like the things they pulled off then, it's just nothing new is going on.
It's like okay, I'm going to talk about something totally different here, but the Transformers movie, the first one, like I really loved what they did in the first one, and then
because it was the first time, I guess.
Yeah, but I really found it really interesting, and then I watched the second, and then I just stopped watching, and then there are a lot of series where I just watched maybe the first and the second, and then I just stopped watching.
Yeah, I mean
you sort of know that it's going to be.
But how do you explain Suicide Squad and all these new movies? I've not seen Wonder Woman, but all of these Captain America, these movies they're mixing up superheroes and this and that. It's too cut and dried for me. It's just nothing surprising and new is going on.
Yeah, I know.
I feel.
Yeah, it's the way I sort of explain that fandom to people is like why ladies watch soap opera, like. And for us, comics are like our soap opera, Like
okay.
There's the story which keeps going that we like. We don't want it to end. Like we know. I mean, we are shocked that Batman dies, but we all know that Batman will come back because it's Batman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, then maybe I'm just not geek enough for it. Like because I can see right through the fact that it's just call it milking the franchise. That's just one way of putting it. But this is just something else, right? You have a Captain America movie where I don't know, Spider-Man or someone showed up. I don't know, in Civil War.
So
Ant-Man shows up for 5 minutes and goes away. It's just, I'm like, you're pandering now. Okay, like it's not fun anymore. Like I get it. I like superheroes, so you're throwing more at my face. Great, thanks.
No, but I think
works.
Okay, there's clearly there are different people. I think. Okay, let's look at who watches superhero films.
I won't know. Yeah, keep going. I don't know.
Let's say there are kids because they like to watch. Like when we were kids, like we would totally go to. If we were
and
kids,
enjoy
we
it.
would totally go to and enjoy it.
Unconditionally.
And then there are these people in nostalgia who used to read comics and want to.
Okay.
Like sort of technology has caught up to the imagination of people who drew and wrote comics. So now, like you could have a Hulk, which is you don't have to paint Lou Ferrigno and do like they did the series in I don't know when 70s. Like so there is. I think there's nostalgia and there's the kids, but then there are some things like for example Netflix there's Daredevil. Have you seen that?
I've not.
Okay, if you really want like superhero but at the same time something really different, you should watch Daredevil. Which is because I was just mind blown by what they did with because Daredevil is like sort of this bad boy kind of. He kind of has that sexiness that Batman has, like because Superman is too clean. Like normally, usually he's clean. He's not dark. And Batman is this messy. Actually, it's like there is he's at the same time the most compelling character. Like he's like everybody loves Batman, and he's at the same time the most I don't know how to say it, like most crazy, like non-believable character. Like he. Like you think about why would a billionaire like dress up like a bat and beat up people? Like, but then you think about like his parents were killed when he was 8, and that's something that a kid would do. Like when you were a kid, you would not think about giving money to the police department and like sort of help them with the technology. You would just say, "Wait, I'm going to put on a costume and help him." Yeah. And that's what he is like, sort of, and that's why Batman can be campy, like.
At the same time, yeah.
And it could be made fun with Lego, like a Lego movie, which are really awesome.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you can make like dark movies.
I like that kind of experimentation, right? You give it to Chris Nolan, he'll do something fun with it. You'll give it to the Lego movie, they'll find that aspect of it and bring it out in the forefront, like right there for you to consume. I don't think recent superhero movies do that anymore. Like you said, I'll give you examples, right? Look at the first Guardian of the Galaxy.
Yes.
I didn't like that movie, but I get what it was trying to do, right? It was making fun of the whole genre. Then Deadpool, right? Again, I didn't love that movie, but they were making fun of the whole superhero setup, right? Yeah. Breaking the fourth wall, whatever, which is also being overused, I guess, all the time. But that movie did it the first time, and in the superhero genre, all right, cool. You have you have my interest. But the next superhero movie that's going to come out is probably not going to be able to experiment like that, and it's just going to be like the rest of them, right?
But like which is a turn off for me. Talking about new experiments in superheroes, like Spawn is a totally. I mean, he's like an anti-hero. Like he's a Spawn from hell. So he's like, and it's going to be produced by a horror film production company. Okay. So it's like going to be really like Shining, they said it's going to be like eerie, like disturbing and stuff. So it's going to be a different. I mean, I hope because there was a Spawn film in the 90s with Michael Jai White, but it was good. But I think it's one of the franchises that needs a reboot because I mean, just for me.
Right. But I want to see these movies being given to like what we talked about before. People need to hand these movies to other directors, right? People who just like the next Star Wars movie. Who's doing the next Star Wars movie?
Rian Johnson is the guy.
Is that the guy who did the third Harry Potter film?
No, Rian Johnson is the guy who did the Looper. Have you seen Looper?
No.
Actually, they're kind of giving the big franchises to like indie directors. Like
I want more of that. Right? Like, that's awesome. I think
like Rogue One. Have you seen Rogue One?
I have seen Rogue One.
But
wasn't
Rogue
a big fan.
They gave it to what's his name? I forgot his name. The guy who did Godzilla.
Not familiar.
Anyway, but he made a movie called Monsters.
Okay.
It was like an indie film. He did all the special effects by himself.
Okay.
There is a really interesting video. I could send you a link. It's and he just went on like around Mexico like with a camera and a crew, and they just got off the van and just filmed, and that's the movie actually. And it's about a guy trying to get a girl home safely back home, but it happens like unlike other alien movies. The aliens have already conquered Earth, so it's the aftermath of sort of. So it's like a different take, and I think the guy made and after that they gave him Godzilla, the new one, not the one from the 90s, and then he made Rogue One, and now the next movie, Rian Johnson is a guy who made Looper, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. What's his name? Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Right?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, yeah.
And Bruce Willis. Have you seen that movie?
No.
It's really good. You should watch it. It's
what's it called?
Looper.
Okay.
It's about time travel.
Okay.
It's
I mean,
I don't want to.
Don't spoil it. Yeah. Put it on the list.
I put it on the list. Okay. Yeah. So what else? Now we went from horror films to. But you were going to ask something about Star Wars, right?
Yeah, I don't know the name of that director, dude. The guy who did the third.
Rian Johnson.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Did he do the Prisoners of Azkaban?
I don't know the directors of Harry Potter movies.
Yeah. Anyway, like he did. I just don't have all the information. I should have done my homework on this. There's that name. He's done some weird Spanish coming of age movie, you know, and then like how do you move from that to doing a Star Wars film? Like that's the kind of contrast I think if we can manage that, afford it, right, to make that kind of a leap.
And I think
something interesting might come out of that. I feel that's how I feel about it.
I think the fact that
I want that.
like for example, the guy who did Arrival, Denis Villeneuve, he's a French guy. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's French or Canadian, but I think he's
French pretty much, I guess.
Yeah, and now they're giving him Blade Runner, the sequel to Blade Runner.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen the trailer to Blade
Yeah.
Runner? Okay.
Super excited about it. And who's doing the music for it?
No,
I think Zimmer is doing the music.
Really?
I hope he is.
So, so the guy who did Arrival is doing Blade Runner.
All right.
So that's cool. Like, that sort of gives you I immediately want to. I mean, I'm not watching the trailers because when I go to the cinema, I just want to be like a raw experience, surprised by everything. Because that's another point. Like we talked about Red Turtle, right? The animated movie.
Yeah.
The other day I was just. I just started putting the trailer for you, and then I just realized that in the trailer they sort of show you the story, and I hate that when they do that in the trailer. Like they show you the whole movie, and then just leave the ending.
Yeah.
Like there's also an anime called Wolf Children, which is a really excellent, but it's not a really like action based. It's like a really sentimental, sad.
Okay.
One of the few stories about mothers actually. Like it's,
okay.
And it's like if you see the trailer, like they just show you the whole movie in like
yeah, that's
it's
not cool.
Like you shouldn't like.
But I don't think they did that with Blade Runner. I mean, I've seen only one trailer, the first one, and the music was just off the hook. And they showed more of the setting, like they just showed the colors, the palette. They showed, and then obviously Ford comes on screen and he tells, "Oh, things are different now," or whatever. I mean, that's what I want from a trailer, right? They just get me excited about this thing that I know and love from before, and just show me the parts that are recognizable. It's the same golden science fiction style.
So are you looking forward to any other movies now? Have you planned to watch anything else in the cinema lately?
I didn't even plan to go watch Dunkirk, to be honest. I was so disappointed with Interstellar. I was just like, it's time to let it go. The guy's done his work with Dark Knight. It's time to let go. And then I watched Dunkirk and I'm just like, whoa. So, I mean, I'm not that film buff who's got a list of movies he's waiting for.
Okay.
Right? I don't have that. I'm definitely not looking forward to the next Marvel film, right? Which I don't know. They've planned out till 2030 or something. I don't know. Whatever, right? Just not excited about that side of film.
In a way, it's not a money-making machine. So as long as
and that's all I can see there. So I'm just not excited. I don't know, man. I just don't know. I just hope to run into people who are into film, my kind of movies, and I can just find out more about those kind of movies. But I'm the kind of guy who's always going backwards. Like I'm always going to find me the next like obscure director from the 50s, I want to see that stuff because movie's been going on for a while.
Ask me,
yeah, definitely,
also,
right? I need to run into more of that.
Isn't there like something special about like knowing? I mean, it's different when you know something that everybody knows,
right?
But at the same time, there's like you connect with people through movies. Like I remember, like I was
shared context. You find shared context.
I was working with in Germany, and I was working with. My friend Martin, who's from Czech Republic, and we don't have anything in common. Like he hasn't seen. I mean, he hasn't watched anything growing up like me or anything. But we immediately connected through indie movies, like indie meaning independent, not really, and also Kevin Smith movies. Like, do you know Kevin Smith?
Not familiar.
Okay. And it's like, so then he would like recommend me movies, and then I would watch it. Oh, that's really good. Like, okay, I recommend.
Get something to talk about.
You should watch like Steven Soderbergh. He's really good at these independent small movies, and that's what I like about M. Night Shyamalan too. Like, they gave him like, they saw that he did good with, I think, Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, and what was the other one? Signs, I think, did very well. Like, and then they gave him like a big franchise, but. Okay, like you said, it's good to have a different vision on these huge franchises, but at the same time, like if that's not what the director is comfortable with, like it
then you're just putting like them really,
out of. But now I think he's got his streak back, so I think it's really
fingers
good.
Crossed.
So talking about 2017, so we started saying that there was Arrival, which was really excellent. Split, Get Out.
But we're talking
Wonder
just
Woman
horror.
Was really good because.
Not seen
of course, it's
I
like
can't bring myself to go to
first female like
the first
movie.
one,
so,
really?
Like, there's no Black Widow movie. There's no movie with. So it was like really important for women and for DC Comics for that for everything. So I mean, I really liked it. And what else? I saw Spider-Man. Okay, it's again
not seen it. I'm just not going for superhero films anymore.
I watched Valerian.
What's that?
A City of Thousand Planets. It's a science fiction film by Luc Besson, the guy who did Fifth Element. And it's like we talked about this. It flopped majorly. Like they spent like $180 million.
Jesus.
And I think they earned like $16 million.
Oh boy.
So
get a marketing team on that, I guess. Solve that problem.
But I think like, but for me as a creative person, like it was really impressive. Like the work that went into making that film was really huge. And that film, I'm not going to say that it has a really sophisticated storyline or something, but it has a really good heart. Like it's made with. I mean, that's what I like about movies. Like whether it's action or genre or anything. If it's made with honesty and heart, like. You could feel that, and
I know what you're talking about.
Like I think that can happen in any movies. Like horror film, they can just also make like Annabelle. I'm sure the Annabelle first made a lot of money, so they made Annabelle Creation because they
have to
put that name. Like will bring people to the cinema and stuff. So it's. So what else do you think I should put on my list? Like we talked about horror films, we talked about anime, we talked about. We didn't talk about action films, like action films. What kind of
action movies? What action movies
do you remember watching?
I'll go back to any cheesy 90s action film.
That's
like I won't even have to think twice.
Like when Arnold was at his
best. Bro. Like that's the stuff. Like that's the stuff I grew up on. Like my dad was super into just any Rambo film or whatever. Like I grew up on that stuff. And as someone who's learned a thing or two about movies in the last couple of years, I'd go back to those movies and I'd see how they were just not. They're not quality filmmaking. No. But you know what? They're freaking awesome, right? And we need more of that. So I'd watch those movies anytime. Like if you say action movies, that's what comes to my mind, right? If not the original.
The guy who made John Wick made Atomic Blonde.
Yeah, I was going to watch that. But I watched Dunkirk instead.
That's another thing I wanted to talk about is that the movies, like, they don't stay very long in the cinema. So, like, they stay for a month and then except... If it's like a superhero, like they just leave it for like months and
it's just a different
and they give
level that they're working at.
I love Spider-Man, but you can't give Spider-Man like 3 shows, 4 shows. Like give some other movies a chance.
Follow the money trail, man. Yes. Like it just makes more money, I guess. No, but it's like I mean that movie, Atomic Blonde, right? Yeah. You wanted to stay in the hall, you need more money. Like you need the marketing team has to drop more money on it, which they probably don't have. Who has it? Sony. Doing Spider-Man, of course, like it makes sense, right?
I heard it was also based on a comics.
Which one?
Atomic Blonde.
Oh, okay. No, I've not. My friend at work told me, hey, you should watch Atomic Blonde because, John Wick is cool. And I was like, oh, you like John Wick? Then probably I like Atomic Blonde. Yeah. But yeah, my girl was like, Dunkirk has better reviews. And I was like, sure. Why not?
And you were saying, yes.
I was like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, cool. So you're let's talk about Nolan a bit. Like I don't know if the first film I watched. What is your first film, Nolan film that you watched? Like, do you remember?
The first Batman.
Batman Begins.
Begins, yeah.
Which actually for me, I don't want to. I
was too young.
Okay, Dark Knight is. Excellent.
It's just
it is what it is.
Too good, yeah.
But I kind of really love more Batman Begins because it shows his process of becoming actually Batman, which is what is interesting for me.
That's the best superhero film, right? Like the first one where they show how they become.
Exactly.
I didn't love it.
Okay.
Yeah, Batman Begins was okay for me.
Okay, but the first one I watched was Memento. Have you seen Memento?
Yeah, of course. I've not seen it. Like I saw it after I saw Dark Knight.
So my first one was Memento. And
have you seen The Following?
I want to. I know it's on my list.
Okay, yeah, I've seen The Following.
Oh shit! But the concept is really good. Like the guy who goes into people's houses and like
he's just a weird. Yeah, I love that. That was a cool movie. I've not seen. There's this one other Nolan film called the name. I forget the name. Do you know what are the other films he's done?
So Nolan has done Memento, the Insomnia,
yeah, that's not.
With Al Pacino and Robin Williams, right?
Al Pacino. Whoa. Okay, I've not seen that.
Yeah, there's. I think it's a remake of a Swiss film. I want to say, but there's it's a remake of an European film actually.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the Following is his first film, right? Is it like?
And do you know there's this scene in The Fall? It is his first movie, and it was made on like some $100,000 or something.
Seen it yet, yeah.
There's a sequence where they show this guy in the house, and in the background there's a Batman logo on the wall on a bulletin board of some kind, and everyone's like, "Oh, it was all meant to be" or something like that.
No, but it's I guess I was not really into like reading news about movies back then on the internet, but
same. Probably
especially like when Heath Ledger was cast as a Joker, like I'm sure.
Everyone was like, "What the hell?" Because the movie he did before that was some rom-com, right? Like some romantic.
Didn't he do Brokeback Mountain before that?
I don't recall. Like I know this movie called Candy that he did. I think it's called. He was just playing he was just playing like heartthrob.
About night in the Middle Ages stuff.
Oh, maybe I don't know.
But yeah,
what a performance, right? Jesus Christ! like, oh my God.
But
how do you
I
find
think
that?
they're going to release a documentary about Heath Ledger, like
as well they should.
His process that went to. I think they showed this diary where he was like making study for this character, and like there is a lot of Clockwork Orange, which is also
of course, yeah.
This is like everything Kubrick. Is connected by I think. The circle is very how is it like circle is small but very strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stephen King, Stanley Kubrick, Nolan.
They're all taking cues from each other.
Yeah. It's
unstoppable.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like it. So okay, action films. What else? Like what
other genres exist? I don't know.
Okay, comedy. Like okay, yeah.
Comedy films.
What is
the recent breed of
film I've seen? I watched. Okay, so I wouldn't say it's the funniest film. But it's the recent funny film I've seen. It's Anchorman 2.
Not seen it.
Have you seen it?
No.
Okay. I was on
I know the Seth Rogen film.
I was kind of in a Will Ferrell marathon.
Okay.
I watched Get Hard. It's Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart.
Okay.
I was really surprised by it. I thought I would hate it, but actually it was pretty smart. Actually, so it's well written, and it's written by Adam McKay, who's he writes that sort of in all of his movies. Have you seen The Other Guys?
No.
It's like there's always this in his movie. There's a theme of the rich and the poor, like the 1% who owns the world and the 99%. Who are basically slave to that that part, and like there is also that. So I highly recommend Get Hard if you wanna watch. Like,
I don't seek out Hollywood like comedy films.
So you have Netflix.
I
right?
do not yet.
You don't have Netflix.
No.
So and the other film I watched was Okja, but it's not a comedy film. It's a animal movie. And it's
movie. That's a category.
Yeah. Yes. No, what I like about it is, like the movie starts with this woman played by Tilda Swinton, who's like excellent in everything she does, who is this founder of the company, and basically, I mean, you kind of feel like she's the bad guy, but actually the idea that she has is to feed the world, actually, to genetically invent super big pigs so that she could
feed more people. That's where Okja comes from.
Yeah, that's where Okja comes from.
Okay.
But actually, even if, and then this girl sort of get fond of, because it's her friend, like this pig becomes her friend, her everything, and then they want to take this pig back to basically kill it. So that's the story. Like how does she, how does she avoid that? Like that's the story actually. And it's really good. Like it's funny. It's emotional. It's like it's an adventure, and it's really cool. What else did I watch? Like I still haven't finished Game of Thrones. So
Game of Thrones, yeah, not for me. I just don't
so
have that kind of time.
Series
I don't like. I've watched series that have been like they don't take too much of my. Like Breaking Bad is the only TV show I've seen to completion.
Yeah, but they have like 5 seasons, right?
Yeah, but that's it, right? I mean, compared to, I don't know, Bleach, which is what, I mean, that's an anime, right?
Yes.
Like, I mean, it just keeps going. Like, I can't hang on for that long. And if Breaking Bad wasn't Breaking Bad, they wouldn't have stopped, right? They shut it off on time, right? There were those 1 or 2 seasons in there that were a little bit dragged. One of those episodes where nothing really happens, whatever. But there wasn't that time in that TV show where I was just like, they're just dragging this along, or oh, here's that other character that they threw in because they had to. Like, I don't take to TV series like I do to movies because they just take up too much of my time. But there are some TV series that really... Okay, Twin Peaks. Have you seen Twin Peaks?
We talked about it, but
it's that's my jam. If that's not on your list, you should put it there. Yeah. Only the first season. And the new Twin Peaks is out. I've not seen it. I want to go watch it. That's one TV show that's on my list. And he's doing it.
There was a series in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
And then this is like a reboot?
This is this year, 2016 or 2017. Have you
seen the one from the 90s?
Yeah, of course. That's the one I'm talking about.
Reboot or
this is, I don't know. It's a continuation. So the first, spoiler alert, the first one ends. You have to go watch the first season.
Okay.
The second season is just, it's bad. I didn't even finish. I finished the second season, but it's just, it falls apart really quickly. Like the first season is golden. I think it's worth to watch. The second season is just bad, but he's continuing it. The same characters and actors are there, but it's exactly 25 years from before, like in the fiction as well. So the TV show ends with saying that I'll see you in 25 years or something like that, right? And it's exactly it's like 26 actually, because they slipped a year. So the TV show, I imagine the new one will pick up exactly in the same town 25 years from now.
And all the episodes are directed by David Lynch, or
yeah, I think so. I think all of them are directed by him, or written by him, something like that. I don't know, but it's his doing. Like you watch till the fourth. I think it's the third or the fourth episode of the first season. Where if you don't like it, just stop watching after that. You'll know what I'm talking about when you run into it. But if that's your thing. Oh my God, you're in for a treat.
I'm a huge, I love...
He does like...
I love David Lynch, so
he does not psychological horror. What do you call that? Like Do you know anything about Twin Peaks? Like, do you know anything about Twin Peaks? Like, what do you know about Twin Peaks?
It's based on, it's a murder mystery, right?
Okay, if that's all you know about it, good luck. Okay. Like, you should go in knowing just that, right? Okay. Because I went into it knowing just that. And the 4th episode happened to me. And I was like,
I'm getting ready
into a David Lynch. Right. I saw Eraserhead last year, I think. Yeah. That guy's got funny stuff going on in his head. Have you seen that video of David Lynch cooking quinoa and telling a story for 25 minutes on YouTube? You should check that out. Yeah. He's giving a cooking lesson. The guy does music and all of that. He plays the guitar or something and he sings and David Lynch, man, what a guy.
But okay.
Twin Peaks, I love Twin Peaks.
Eraserhead is okay.
I loved it.
It's sort of
just weird. That's what
isn't it weird? Like when someone puts because that was kind of my fear of like this monster. I don't know. I had dreams about that. Like
it's a weird. Like I don't know what that movie is about, right? Like I still don't know what that movie is about. It's not a. I mean I probably I'm a little bit biased, right? Because I've been told it's a crazy film made by this crazy director, and I've liked his other stuff, so I'm gonna jump in on the bandwagon and say, yeah, of course, Eraserhead is awesome. I know I'm doing that, but I'm at the same time it's also this just weird movie that's really difficult to understand, and I have that respect for it, right? I know that it's doing this weird different thing, and it's just absurd. The kind of things that happen in that movie are just, and I really dig that. right? It's not a movie that's going to sit me down and explain itself to me. It's going to make me do the work. Same with my games. I want to do the work, right? If the thing is going out of its way to explain to me what's going on, I just hate that, right? I'm being coddled, right? And with Eraserhead, I don't have that.
You kind of you're right. Like the movies that I remember, like the movies that affected me, are the ones where after watching it, they still stay in your head. Like you're still thinking.
They stay in your head because they didn't fill in all the gaps for you, and you have to do that yourself. About, it's a participant. Like it's a.
Now that I know that you're into like weird movies, like there's a thriller, which is. They made American remake, but with the same director made the American remake, but with Sandra Bullock and I think Donald Sutherland. I don't remember. But don't watch the American remake, even if it's the same director. Mm-hmm. Watch the original. It's called SPOORLOOS. Okay. I just put it on the list.
Also. Yeah, put it on the list.
It's a
giant list we have.
It's basically a guy and a girl who are just, and I think it's based on a book called Golden Eggs, and you sort of know what it means at the end, like, and you have to watch the film. It's basically about a guy who is trying to do bad, and which succeeds doing like you know all these motivational videos that show you like if you try hard, like you could do it. It's the opposite of that. Like it shows the bad guy who wants like do something really bad, and he just thinks and he says, oh, okay, if I tried it really hard, I could make it, even whether it's bad or good. Like it's and it's twisted in that way. Like it starts with a couple who, like, I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but like it starts with a couple who's in a fight. They're going somewhere, and it's a Belgian film, and they speak French, and I think it's Flamand. They have a specific language there, and they speak that, and they have a fight, and then they make up, and then they just continue their trip. And at a certain point, he just goes to make a phone call or something, and then he comes back, and the girl is gone. Okay. So, and then he hears nothing about it, like. And
the movie doesn't acknowledge the fact that thing's not there, right? But you as an audience, I imagine
he knows it, but it haunts him because he doesn't know what happened to her. Like, and then,
all right.
And then years after, the guy takes contact with him, and tells him, "Do you want to know what happened to your girlfriend?" Oh, and it's like really
right. Okay.
And that movie still haunts me.
Something else,
like it's really so SPOORLOOS. That's another thing you have to watch.
Put it on the list.
What thinking of weird movies, like, I mean, there are so many, like there's Steven Soderbergh is the guy who did Ocean's 11 and stuff, but what I like about him is that he's really good at doing like small independent films with big actors. Like for example, his last movie is Logan Lucky with Adam Driver, who played in Star Wars.
Yeah, Adam Driver.
Channing Tatum and Daniel Craig.
Nice.
Have you seen the trailer of this?
No, what is this?
Logan Lucky. I mean, I'm waiting for this movie to come to cinema.
Put that on the list. Yeah, what is that?
I mean, it's like a heist movie, but with stupid guys. Like they're like, it looks like a dark, weird comedy.
Okay, let's do that.
I like dark
Sounds
comedy,
like
so
fun.
It's like, so that's Logan Lucky. What other weird movie? So Steven Soderbergh did a movie called Bubble, and I can't really explain it, but it's basically I don't know why I love these dark movies. It's like
dark. Are they dark?
Do you think there's an explanation for loving weird movies?
I don't know. I have a fascination for things that aren't explained, right? So that I can go in and do the work. I want to participate. I want to have fun. Games do that, right? There are games that let me do that. That's why I like games a lot, because they let me, engage to some extent. So if a movie puts itself in front of me like a game of sorts, right? Like where here's stuff going on the screen, you make what you want out of it. I'm involved like I would be involved with a video game that I enjoy, right? It's fun now because there's work to be done. Yeah. I just have a childish fascination for that, I guess. It's more fun to me.
Yeah, it's that's like, okay, I'm not saying like this is not a critic on Indian films, but like there are really good films in Indian cinema, which I'm doing a video actually on my channel where I'm going to actually explain, like, because when we say Bollywood,
Shah Rukh Khan comes to mind.
Yeah, Like there is an image that everybody has in mind.
Yeah, that
like everybody is colorful
dancing,
and like dancing and stuff. I'm like, yeah, of course, okay. I'm not going to deny
but
that.
We have other films in there hiding there,
like it's
and
hiding there.
They're somebody has to talk about them.
Exactly. So I want to do that, and shit, I forgot what I was going to say. Okay. Okay. When you say about the information given to the audience, right? And in Indian cinema, they do this all the time. Like there's they show a flashback sequence, and then something happens there. Okay, now you've seen that, and then in the present, the hero does something which recalls to that.
Yeah. And you
but
go,
then instead of letting the audience do okay, right. I get it. They take a extract
of the flashback and be like, oh, you see that
black and white, and then put it in the
yeah. Like, I mean, that's like, so in video games we call that like holding the hand of the player, right? Like you're as something that you should expect your audience to do themselves, you do it for them, just to make sure that they're not off the mark even by a little bit, right? There's that kind of film. There's that kind of video game. And then there's the other side of the spectrum. I find that I enjoy it more when I'm not being led by, like the director telling me how to think in that very moment, right? Let me lose for a little bit, right? Let me have some fun. Bring me back later, by doing something that, funnels me to the next act or whatever, but let me have some fun in the middle.
It also tells a lot about the film. I mean, it's probably not the filmmaker's choice, but it also tells a lot about like okay, so you think I'm not smart enough to like make that connection?
It's a kind of insult. It's a kind of insult, right? When you point out what you just pointed about that movie, you were kind of insulted. You were taken aback a little bit. Like, what is this? What do you think I'm 13 or what is it? Right? And that happens with games all the time, right? But buddy, it just so happens that there are 13-year-olds playing that game. There are 13-year-olds watching that movie, right? And you have to cater to them too. Exactly. So it's not the fault of the filmmaker. Probably it's just like something that has to be done, right?
So we've done 51 minutes. That's really great. So I don't know. I just want to
split it up into 2 episodes. Big deal, man.
Yeah, that's really good. No, I'm just so we'll split it up in 2 episodes. And no, thank you very much, Vidhvat. Like I
had fun.
Yeah,
thanks for having me.
We should do this again. Like when
definitely.
After watching.
Listen, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah,
like we should watch a movie and then just talk about it.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think that's like fresh out of the mind.
Sure,
like, just come here and
that'll be different and fun.
It's like plug in. Do your plug-in, dude. Like talk about like where can they find your games?
I'm at _Vidhvat on Twitter. You can go to quicktequila.com to like look at my games if you want to do that. Otherwise, that's my internet presence.
Games? Like, so
I already mentioned Lovely Planet. I've made a sequel to that called Lovely Planet Arcade, and I just released this game called Super Lovely Planet, which is a third, milking the franchise, right? No, but it's different from the first one. You don't shoot stuff now, so you can buy that game on PC. Might see it on different platforms next year.
So you said now in PC, like in Steam?
Right? Yeah, you can get it on Steam right now.
What are the other platforms in PC?
There isn't. Steam is pretty much dominant right now. You can get like there are lots of places where you can go find indie games that aren't that famous. Like itch.io is one website that's doing really well. Otherwise, the Humble Store. There's a bunch of places to find video games, but Steam's where it's at, and that's where I'm at. So that's where you can find my games.
Okay, great, dude. So cool. This is Boris and Vidhvat signing off, and I was Movie Messenger. So until next time, I'm sure we'll do this again. So okay, see you guys. Bye.
Cheers.